According to some studies, people nowadays, especially in urban areas, spend over 90% of their time indoors. As such, the built environment has a profound impact on our overall health and well-being. With themes like climate change and sustainability, chances are we must have heard about green buildings too. To minimize the impact of building sector on our environment, according to experts, the building and construction sector is responsible for almost 39% of the global CO2 emission. A green building is one that considers and reduces its impact on the environment and human health. This is Housing Development, a program that tries to provide solutions to housing issues, home ownership, and a whole lot more in the sector. As always, I am Flora Ani, your housing diva. Let's see the news making waves in the sector. I'll be back in a moment.
The Federal Capital Territory Minister of State, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, has called on members of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners to tackle the attendant multidimensional consequences of rapid urbanization in most cities across the country. The minister made the call in Abuja during the 13th investiture of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners FCT chapter, while also calling on the institute to join the administration in working for improved legislation on fiscal planning and urban development in support of the regeneration of Nigerian towns and cities. The minister, who was represented at the occasion by the Director, Department of Urban and Regional Planning, Town Planner Zaliha Ahmed, used the medium to reveal that the administration is working and with the support of the African Development Bank to undertake urban improvement projects across 8 settler towns in the FCT. And the Lagos State government has issued a suspension order on all approvals in respect of land extensions into the Lagoon and Banana Island and Osborne Foreshore, Ikoyi. The government, at the weekend, in a statement jointly signed by the Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Idris Salaku, and his counterpart in the Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, Kabiru Ahmed Abdullahi, stated that it had noticed the increasing and continuing degradation of the Lagos shoreline as a result of indiscriminate illegal dredging, reclamation, and land extensions into the Lagos Lagoon. The Commissioner stated further that the indiscriminate illegal proliferation of dredging and reclamation practices had brought about serious distortion in the aesthetics of the shoreline, with high potential for causing environmental degradation, which is capable of producing dire consequences if unchecked. The Lagos State government urged members of the public to comply forthwith with the stop work suspension orders or risk facing criminal charges and the confiscation of the dredging equipment by the Lagos State government. And Family Homes Funds Limited has written an agreement with solar home system providers to provide off-grid solar power to all houses under the National Social Housing Program. This, according to the MD of Family Homes Funds, Femi Adewole, is a joint off-thinking partnership with the Power Sector Economic Sustainability Committee that will give people on low income access to shelter and power at an affordable price. The off-grid power arrangement, which will provide affordable access to power for the low-income beneficiaries, is also one of the components of the federal government's economic sustainability plan, a comprehensive strategy to address the health and economic challenges of the coronavirus in Nigeria. In order to ease the process, a portal, www.nshp.gov.ng, has been created to enable citizens' expression of interest in the program and to provide stakeholders access to information and opportunities. And meanwhile, Formed of Forensin, Kenya's based leading real estate, Centum, has listed its 3 billion shillings project bond on the Nairobi Security Exchange, allowing investors to trade the security before it matures in 2023. The listing will also help track the 3-year bond's performance, timely implementations of the project, and uptake. The real estate firm said it has attained a 77% pre-sale level and deposit collections of 3.3 billion shillings. The company raised 3 billion shillings in the first tranche of its targeted 4 billion shillings with a green shoe option of 2 billion shillings, which is funding the housing projects. The property developer, a subsidiary of listed Centum Investment Company, is constructing 1,358 housing units in Ruaraka and Kasarani, as well as high-end duplexes at Two Rivers. Another 1,515 units, the firm said, are under market validation.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. You can visit www.africahousingnews.com for details of the headline news and other news stories. The bitter experience of global warming has alarmed and compelled mankind to change the way we operate on Earth. Within the construction industry, the green building concept evolved and it is now gaining momentum rapidly across the world. What are green buildings? How well do Nigerians understand the term green buildings? Let's find out on Voices on the Street.
In those days, there were such buildings built of nature like mud. Okay, and this bamboo, I believe in the 70s and early 80s, there were such buildings. It is just with time that it begin to phase out, and people begin to embrace bricks here and there. If not, green building is not new to us in Africa. It's not new to us in Nigeria, particularly Benue, where I come from. Green building is still there till today.
Green buildings are built from natural materials, like mud houses, like bamboo houses in the villages, and etc., etc. These kind of buildings are just the kind of building that you see in local places, but it's not so common in urban area. You understand what I'm saying? We have them in all these local settings. Most of these Fulani settlements are made of green. They can be categorized as green buildings. These Fulani settlements are built from thatched and mud, and so there are some buildings that you use bamboo to construct in the villages. They can even raise them up. As in riverine area, they use bamboo, they use wood to do their buildings in places like that. So these are green buildings.
From my own understanding, green buildings mean green environment, and green is a symbol of peace and unity. Yes, sometimes you see people looking for a greener place to live, whether the place is just a green environment. They just want to be sure the place is very conducive. The place is greenish. Everybody like anything green. So because it's a symbol of peace, and it's a symbol of good living and good environment.
Embracing green building. I know of our great grandfathers that we met. They live close to nature and they live long.
I do strongly believe that some of those materials are prone to catching fire easily, like plastics. Such needs as cooking within the house has to be waived.
It's a good one because it will help us in mitigating climate change
excesses.
So I don't know, it depends on the duration. Does it last like a block or more than block structures? So it depends the advantages, and you weigh it, the advantages and disadvantages. If it is more economical and it lasts longer, then we should give it a trial.
Of course. I think Nigeria is part of the world, and if that's the case, we should go with the trend. I think the developed world are exploring way of reducing pollution and trying to enhance their air quality.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global, and keep watching the Housing Development Program.
There you have it from Voices on the Street. With buildings emitting more energy-related carbon globally than the entire transport sector, experts say holistic adoption of green building standards in the housing industry will boost efficiency and lower construction costs. Now, Dennis Kwanzaa of IFCS Green Buildings will enlighten more on the importance of green buildings. Take a listen.
With recent concerns about the state of climate change across the world and at large, global warming, more attention has been drawn to the state of buildings that emit energy into the environment, leading environmentalists to come up with the innovation of green buildings. Green buildings are structures with process applications that are environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout the building's life cycle, from planning to design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and demolition. Green building materials include wood from responsibly managed and certified forests, rapidly renewable plants like bamboo and straw, recycled stone or metal, and materials that are non-toxic and recyclable, or that have been reclaimed from other construction projects. Dennis Papa or Denny Kwanzaa, Ghana Program Lead at Edge Green Buildings International Finance Corporation, described green buildings as structures that are 20% more efficient than other buildings.
For us at IFC, when we say a green building, we are looking at a building that is at least 20% more resource efficient than a comparable baseline building in the local market. So if you listen carefully, you realize that my catchphrase is at least 20% more efficient than the baseline of the local market. Because some people, when they hear green building, they think we are trying to compare how efficient their project is or how efficient their building is to another building somewhere else in the world.
He said that for a building to be green, it had to have 3 standards in terms of efficiency, that is, energy, water, and the embodied energy in the materials.
For the efficiency, we are looking at energy efficiency, we are looking at water efficiency, and we are looking at the embodied energy in the materials. So these are the 3 standards that we look at when it comes to green building.
Speaking on the importance of green buildings, he said they help to build resilience against future energy crises.
How important is it? What you see is that one of the key benefits is green buildings help to build some resilience against future energy prices. So as I mentioned, we are looking at energy efficiency, and if you design your building to the extent that it is very energy efficient, it doesn't waste energy. It means that in future, when price increases, when fuel prices or energy prices increases, you really wouldn't be affected because already you designed your building to use the least energy that is to be used.
Another importance of green buildings is the future prevention of its obsolescence against other buildings.
When it comes to planning, once your building is green and you have that green building certification, it prevents your building from becoming obsolete. For instance, in the next 5 years or the next 10 years, there may be some changes in the building regulations of a particular city, which would mean that some old buildings would need to be retrofitted to be able to meet that particular standard. That's the new building regulation is requiring. But if your building already is green, what it means is no matter the changes in the regulation that comes, it is going to be at par with it. So we've seen that in a lot of markets, the value for buildings is much higher because we see it to be we see it to be something that is much more valuable for people compared to the ordinary buildings.
Mr. Quansah concluded by advocating for more green buildings as a higher value is placed on them over regular buildings in the markets because of its care on people and the environment.
We've seen that in a lot of markets, the value for buildings is much higher because we see it to be we see it to be something that is much more valuable for people compared to the ordinary buildings.
My name is Robert Hornsby with American Home Builders of West Africa. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Timberlock Wood Preservative surpasses all preventive measures designed to permanently prevent the damage and quality reduction of wood and wood-based materials by termites, fungi, bacteria, and other boring insects. Use Timberlock Premium Wood Preservative to prevent, correct, and defend wood and wood materials against deformities caused by termites and other insects in the later days. Timberlock is designed to solve wood preservation challenges with a standard you can trust. Timberlock Wood Preservative kills termites instantly. Timberlock Wood Preservative, the wood preservative brand leader in Africa.
Then is Quansah there, representative of IFC Edge Green Building, talking on the importance of shifting to green buildings. Well, findings show that for a building to qualify as green certified, there are some primary standards such structure must meet. These include energy, water use, use of resources, operation and maintenance, and air quality. Green buildings are definitely eco-friendly construction. Let's go for a short break. I'll be back in a moment.
Keep a date with Housing Development Program every week on TVC. Housing Development is the first and pioneer housing program in Nigeria and by extension Africa. It remains the authentic voice of the Nigerian housing and construction industry. Housing Development is the only credible and specialized platform for seasoned professionals in the build industry, where quality and credible players in the real estate sector meet to interact, showcase, and analyze government policies. It is no doubt that hundreds of thousands of prospective Nigerians who desire to own their personal properties have done so through the assistance of Housing Development Program in the last 10 years. If you are a stakeholder in the build industry, here is where you must be. We are authentic, credible, and supported by all the leading professionals in the build industry. Housing Development on TVC.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development. The year 2020 marks with unforeseen turn of events that have initiated unprecedented trends in the Nigerian market and the world at large. The year 2021, real estate focus are beginning to flock in both on international and local scene. Housing Development had a chat with the president of Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria, Dr. Victor Onukuha. Take a listen.
For urgent attention, rental housing.
In a chat with Africa Housing News, Dr. Victor C. Onukwa, President of Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria, opined that 2021 would not be a booming time for the real estate sector due to the bad economy of the country. However, he said AHCN is trying to re-engineer the situation by relying on funds from the federal government through the Family Homes Funds and the National Housing Funds.
We want to re-engineer things. We're going to rely more on funds from the federal government through the Family Home Funds and, of course, the National NHF, National Housing Fund.
Dr. Onukwa went ahead to reiterate that besides the economy being bad, the current pandemic also has made it difficult for foreign investors who want to travel due to travel restrictions and the prevalence of the virus in some places, hence a tough year ahead.
The climate is not favorable in the sense that beyond the economy, people are not going to be free with traveling, especially foreign investors, because of COVID-19. It's going to be a tough year.
He, however, assured that AHCN and other housing umbrella bodies were thinking out of the box to mitigate the effects of the economy on the real estate sector by sourcing funds without impairing the programs on ground.
We are thinking out of the box to ensure that I may not be able to tell you exactly what we're doing, but we are thinking out of the box for sure to ensure that we mitigate the effects of the economy by trying to see how we can source funds without really impairing the kind of programs we have.
Speaking further, the president revealed that there are some investors and other private equity investors that are interested in housing being pursued by the AHCN.
There are some angel investors and other private equity investors that are interested in housing we're pursuing.
All these efforts, he explained, were part of AHCN's efforts to boost the real estate markets in 2021.
Hello, my name is Casey Arrest. I'm the Executive Director of the Centre for Affordable Housing Finance in Africa. We're based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Please keep watching Housing Development Programme. It's a great show.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing Development Programme, on Twitter, Housing Programme, on Instagram @Housing Programme. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Abuja International Housing Show.
It's about the whole of Nigeria, the whole of West Africa. You have stakeholders coming from all over and in fact globally.
It's an excellent way of bringing thought leaders, investors
to come together and figure out ways to
increase capacity in developing housing.
That's the much I can bring on today. Join me next week for another informative episode of Housing Development. Do well to follow Housing Development on all social media platforms. I remain Flora Arnie, your housing diva. Do stay safe out there.